Welcome back to Politics Tonight, and I still have with me the majority leader of the House of Representatives, Honorable Alhassan Doguwa. All right, there are some people who say you have stayed too long in the House and that you should give others opportunity to serve. Can you hear me, Honorable? All right, there are some people who say that you have served too long in the House and that you should give others opportunity to serve.
Okay. This is an interesting question. You see, staying too long in the House, for me, my dear sister, as long as what you do, for instance, on the floor of the House, in terms of your contributions to lawmaking, in terms of your responsiveness to your constituents, in terms of delivery of what you now call the dividend of democracy, I think most importantly, when the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria does not prohibit the length of time you stay in the House of Representatives, that should not be an issue. It does not matter how long someone stays on the floor of the House. It doesn't matter maybe when others are complaining that, oh no, he has stayed for too long. For instance, if you look at places like America, the United States of America, where we borrowed this kind of democracy from, I can tell you so many members in UK, for instance, members who stayed on the floor of the House or in the Parliament for 45 years, 46, 47 years. And one good thing that you must also have to understand is that through the lexicon and the tradition of an institution like the legislature, the longer you stay in the House, the longer you stay as a member of the House, the better you perform, because like I said, it's like a learning process. Definitely your chances of doing well on the floor of the House depends on the number of times you come. And that is why we have always encouraged constituents and citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to ensure that they allow their members to have the opportunity to serve and serve again. Perhaps that is why today, not because I'm the oldest among the members on the floor, and not because I'm the finest in terms of intelligence or brilliance, but perhaps because of the number of times my constituents have agreed to bring me back to the floor of the House, time in, time out, time in, time out. And I believe also it was not out of any reason. It was out of the sheer conviction and commitment of my people that, oh yes, the fine guy is doing as expected. That one is doing as well as is being expected. And of course, that gives me the opportunity to have what we call the institutional memory. I believe even my dear colleagues on the floor of the House of Representatives within Nigeria and outside will tell you that allowing members of the parliament to work again on the floor of the House gives them a better opportunity to serve. It gives them a better opportunity.
But recently you asked the electorate at Tudunwada to vote for you, or they will be dealt with. Did you make such threats, and why, if you did, why would you make such a threat?
Oh, good. This question keeps coming. It has always come, and I've always given you answers. You see, one good thing people should understand about our own way of politics in Kano. One, Kano is very special in terms of aggressive politics. Kano is very special in terms of keeping to ideology. Kano is also special because we have what we call our special semantics. When you operate in Kano political space, you need not only be aggressive, you need to be so exuberant, and you also need to be someone that will have the capacity to carry along his people with a sense of commitment and that feeling of success. So this kind of semantics gives us a special identity as Kano people. This is what we call political rhetorics. This is what we call political shenanigans. I have said it time without number. This is what we call political sloganeering in our own political system. The political brouhaha that you cannot stop in Kano politics. I never meant to intimidate my voters. I never meant to threaten my voters. After all, someone like me, who has been on the floor of the House of Representatives right from 1992, winning election day in, day out, I couldn't have been winning election out of threat or intimidating my voters. It was simply born out of that sheer style, that sheer model of carrying the excitement or injecting that sense of excitement in your supporters. You have to do it to make your people understand that you are on top of your game. Let me give you one good example, for instance. When Rimi, of blessed memory, was the governor of Kano State, he used to say, oh, even if the heaven will fall, we must win election. Even if the heaven will fall, we must win elections. And in Hausa he says, ko sama da ƙasa za ta haɗe sai mun ci zaɓe. It doesn't mean that Rimi meant that sama da ƙasa will come and fall. It does not mean that. But he was only trying to agitate his supporters. He was trying to ginger his people, to carry them along, to do the kind of politics that we call politics of activity, politics of commitment and exuberance. I want to say without any fear of contradiction that the social media and of course some of the conventional media have actually blown that out of proportion. No matter what you say, you have your own intent. And the intent was well, the intent was good. I was only intending to ginger my people, carry along my people alongside our own way of operation and the use of sloganeering, the use of political shenanigans, the use of political rhetoric, which actually, whether you like it or not, you cannot stop that in Kano politics. My brother Konkoso, for instance, will tell you clearly that, oh yes, when the election comes, we will not allow rigging. When the election comes, we will not allow anybody to come and open eyes. When the election comes, he will tell the youth that do whatever it takes to ensure that you win. At a time, Konkoso said, and I quote, that in his own political philosophy, there is a special chapter that he calls crisis management. There is a special chapter that he calls like intimidation. There is a special chapter that they call in his own political philosophy that he calls like even if it means scandal, they will scandalize anyone who comes in their way. But in actual sense, and to be fair to Konkoso, I'm sure he never meant scandalizing electoral process. I'm sure Konkoso never meant creating trouble.
All right, Honorable Doguwa, are you still aspiring for the speakership position in the Green Chamber?
You can say whatever you want to say to ginger people, but it never meant that you meant so bad about the electoral process.
All right, Honorable Doguwa, can you hear me?
Once intimidated my people. I have always lobbied my people, campaigned for them to vote for the APC because I believe the APC will deliver the expectations of the good people of Kano State and even beyond.
All right. Can you hear me very well, Honorable Doguwa? I need to know if you can hear me loud and clear.
Yes, I can hear you very well now.
All right. Now, are you still aspiring for the speakership position in the Green Chamber after the election in 2023?
Oh, great. You see, for me, like I said, being someone who has been in the system for quite long, I am someone that believes in what God ordains. I'm a believer because I'm a Muslim. I have that faith and I have that conviction that whatever is for you, God provides it for you, and definitely nobody takes it away from you. And for now, what we are facing simply is the general election. So what I am now aspiring at the moment is to aspire to be re-elected to the chamber of the House of Representatives as a member representing the good people of Doguwa Tudunwada Federal Constituency. Perhaps when we get there, then you now ask the question of who becomes the speaker or who not to become the speaker. But naturally and under ordinary circumstances, every good member of the House of Representatives, especially someone that has stayed for this long on the floor for about 32 years, you will definitely expect me to begin to nurse ambition as to be the speaker or a presiding officer on the floor of the House of Representatives, because for quite some time I have been on that floor of the House as a member. I now became the chief whip of the House of Representatives, now the leader of the House of Representatives. What I'm trying to say is that aspiration, yes, one would aspire to be, but as a party member, I must have to wait until we get to the bridge before I cross it. For instance, as a team player and a party member, I know of what is called zoning as far as power sharing is concerned in a state like Nigeria where we have federating states. In a state like Nigeria where you run a federal democracy, then I will have to wait until we get to the bridge before I cross it. What if, for instance, I now begin to nurse ambition of becoming the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and at the end of the day, my mother party, the APC, the ruling APC, which I believe will succeed in the 2023 election and form government at the center, and will form government in the majority of the sub-nationals. What if they now decide, oh, the speakership is now going to be zoned to a different place other than my own, as a loyal party member, and with the concept of the supremacy of the party, I cannot go against the decision of my party. But if you want me to be straightforward and tell you my answer, I will tell you yes as a member, yes as a ranking member, yes as today being the leader of the House of Representatives, should my own party, the APC, and the stakeholders in the APC, the NEC, should they decide now at the end of the election to zone the speakership to the northwestern part of Nigeria where I come from, and since I am eminently qualified to contest, then definitely I will go for it, depending on the position of my colleagues, respected colleagues, members who will form membership of the 10th House of Representatives. It is about first among equals. If my colleagues
let's stay away from you for a bit.
Speaker, then fine, I will pick it up. But the fact still remains that the ball is in the court of my party.
All right, Honorable Doguwa, let's stay away from you for a bit. Your presidential candidate has intensified campaigns for the election, but the APC, your presidential candidate has intensified campaigns for the election, but the APC has formidable presidential candidates to contend with, the likes of Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, and Rabi Kwakwanso. How do you rate Tinubu's chances of winning?
For me, I think for me, when you say formidable or trying to qualify a candidate, it is a subjective statement. If you ask me formidable, as far as I'm concerned, I don't see any presidential candidate being formidable to even engage my presidential candidate. When you are talking of a country like Nigeria, where you have people from different backgrounds, ethnicities, religious backgrounds, people with different sense of identification, you need somebody who has all it takes to be the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You need someone who has the network. You need someone who has the brilliance. You need someone who has the intelligence. You need someone who is not only interested in becoming the president, but someone who has the practical values of becoming the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Bola Tinubu started as a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I could remember in those days, I was also in the House of Representatives, working with him while he was in the upper chamber. Bola Tinubu is one man that you can call a bridge builder. He has paid his dues time immemorial. He has always built connections and relationships left, right, and center. He has his political associate in the southeast. He has his political associate in the southwest. He has his people like myself, the governor of Kano State, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, the Wamokos of Sokoto, the El Rufais of Kaduna, the Bagudus of Kebbi, and there's so many people you have, most especially when you now go to the south, northeast, where you have the Senate president also there standing in for the Senate, for the APC. You have the vice presidential candidate, distinguished Senator Shetima. This is what we call political networking. This is what we call political alliances, because you need these alliances, you need this relationship to really succeed in any presidential bid. And I want to also confirm to you, Bola Tinubu, in terms of his exposure to the global world, he is someone who is connected virtually to every developed nation. Bola Tinubu's performance when he was the governor of Lagos State for 8 years is uncomparable, is exemplary. And everybody knows that for somebody to have turned around the economy of Lagos to what it is today, which is being marked or rated as the 5th best planned economy in the South African region. Then,
all right, but the Labour Party presidential candidate, Peter Obi, continues to enjoy
economic development, in the area of developing our educational sector, and even in the area of the challenges we are facing today about insecurity. He has said it all yesterday when he plugged up the Northwestern zonal campaign in Kaduna, where he said he will definitely end insecurity. When somebody says, I will do this, then you ask questions. When somebody says, I will do this, ask him questions. You ask him questions by his precedence, What have you done in the past? When you were governor of Lagos State, was there insecurity in Lagos? There was none. Now that he left Lagos with his own disciples taking over Lagos, the people you have there in charge of Lagos, they are also in control. You don't have insecurity there, which means Bola Tinubu has all it takes to deliver this country in terms of our security, in terms of our economic development. And also you have to believe me also that Bola Tinubu will build on the foundations, very good foundations, laid by President Muhammadu Buhari, coming from the same political party. We have the same political programs and policies, and when you have somebody succeeding his own person under the same political platform, so the tendency is that this man will perform better than any other person. I don't see any other person contending or contesting for the presidency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as formidable, like you have said. When you are talking of formidable,
all right, but the presidential candidate of the Labour Party,
me,
I'm talking about Peter Obi, continues to enjoy. Honorable Doguwa, kindly listen to me.
The one that can do the expectations of the people of Nigeria, somebody who has the track records of what we know about good governance.
The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, continues to enjoy rising popularity, especially among the youths. How worried are you about his chances of upstaging your candidate?
You see, when you talk of people like Peter Obi, when you talk of people like my brother Konkoso in Kano, when you talk of people contesting under some smaller platforms, smaller political platforms, I don't think they have any issues. We have any issues to be threatened by such political parties. With due respect to Peter Obi, with due respect to Konkoso, with due respect to even Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, they cannot just compare themselves with the popularity and the acceptability and the widespread nature of the ruling APC. My sister, winning election is not about social media campaign. Winning election is not about conventional media propaganda. It is not on the pages of newspapers. It cannot be on the pages. It cannot also be on the screen of televisions. Winning election is about practical reality. What do you have to deliver? And who are the people that you have that will really stand in for you in their respective domains? In the Northwest, for instance, I have told you number of qualified politicians, number of experienced politicians who are there to deliver APC for Bola Tinubu in the northwestern part of the country. I can also mention to you the caliber of people we have in the northeast to deliver APC for Bola Tinubu and for the success of our party. So that is how it works. As far as our own democracy is concerned, a developing democracy like our own, what it takes is the kind of network you have, the kind of alliances and allegiances you have within the political space is what will make you succeed, but not mushroom political parties or coming in with some sinister motives or what you call perhaps a social media campaign or propaganda. That will not sell out. I'm telling you, Nigeria has gone beyond that. It is about pragmatic performance. Tinubu has all it takes to declare to the people that yes, he can be a good president. He can make a good presidency and is somebody that you can call a team player. He has the players already on the field, like I've mentioned before. So at the end of the day, you will see how the smaller parties will collapse on the day of election, and you will see how the bigger party, the biggest party in Africa, the APC, will certainly succeed. They will succeed. We will succeed because even on the performance of the government today, the government of Muhammadu Buhari, if you remember when we took over power, the security of this country, the level of economic retardation in the country, the level of denigration in the face of the world because of lack of respect and even diplomatic respect among other nations outside. We took over these countries through Muhammadu Buhari when the country was almost collapsing. The security architecture has failed completely. More than 12 to 16, between 12 to 16 local governments in the Northeast were taken over by Boko Haram. But today, I want to beat my chest to tell you, President Muhammadu Buhari, being in charge of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you have no step or an inch anywhere that is under the control of anybody working against the state of the Federation. These are some of the things that we must be proud of. President Muhammadu Buhari also has done a lot in the area of economic development. He has promoted our agricultural sector. He has also promoted a lot in terms of empowerment programs. Look at some of the very beautiful programs brought about by the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Anko borrowers in the agricultural sector, the issue of also...
All right, talking about President Buhari...
funds for men and women to participate in trading, to make the economy boost again. These are some of the programs that we must...
All right, you once said you have another Buhari in Tinubu.
Will build on this very good foundation.
All right, you once said you have another Buhari in Tinubu. How exactly do you mean?
Yes, what I meant when I said that the APC was lucky, when I said that the APC was successful, I meant that when Buhari came into power, or when Buhari was contesting election, Buhari had the block votes of his kinsmen. Buhari had the support of the whole northern Nigeria, especially the northwestern part of the country. Those of us from the southern state of the west believed in Buhari. We still believe in Buhari. And I also want to tell you that even today that Buhari's name will not appear on the ballot, a lot of us here will win our elections on the credibility and also on the ability of the personality of the man you call Muhammad Buhari. So I said the APC had Buhari in 2015. The APC had Buhari in 2019. We also have another Buhari because Tinubu has some basic political qualities like Muhammad Buhari. Tinubu is the only presidential candidate today who can tell you without fear of contradiction that he has absolute control of the southwestern part of this country, his kinsmen. Because charity begins at home. I repeat, charity begins at home. When you have a presidential candidate who will automatically lose out in his own home constituency, in his state, or you lose out in your region, or you lose out from where you come from, then where do you go? Nowhere. Take, for instance, my good brother, Dr. Rabi Musa Konkoso, who for now is running for the presidential election of the country, and by circumstances, incidentally, he does not even have the control of his state because the state of Kano today is under the APC, under Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje.
A cross-section of Nigerian youths are not happy with your party
running for election that cannot be able to deliver his constituency, immediate constituency, cannot deliver his local government, he cannot deliver his state. Then how do you expect him to win elections in the Federal Republic of Nigeria? So when I said Tinubu is another Buhari, I mean Tinubu is Buhari because he is popular. Tinubu is Buhari because he is trustworthy. Tinubu is Buhari because he has the commitment, the solidarity, and the support of the Yoruba people in the southwestern part of this country. Tinubu can be able to deliver the whole states of the southwestern part of this country without any fear of contradiction. Just like how Buhari was able to deliver the northwestern part of this country when he ran for election in 2015, and secondly, he ran for the second term in 2019. So that is just the analogy.
All right. On a final note, Honorable Doguwa, on a final note, you joined forces with some APC chieftains. On a final note, you joined forces with some APC chieftains like Papadan Agundi, Sheyi Tinubu and others to stage a big rally in Kano. How do you intend to translate that into votes on election day?
You see, like I've said, like I've always said, Kano has always been a special political space. Whatever we do in Kano, as far as politics is concerned, as far as campaign is concerned, as far as our electioneering activities are concerned, we always do that with a difference. When Babada Agundi, my very good friend, came out, he's a youth. And what we were simply doing is to organize support groups, to organize women, to organize traders, to organize farmers, to also encourage the civil servant to have that conviction and commitment in the personality or in the person of Bola Ahmed Tinubu being the right man to be voted for. And I also want to tell you, going down the history lane, that in 1992, when we had the SDP NRC presidential election, of course, unfortunately, it was aborted by the junta, but you can remember The man that contested against the SDP was from Kano, person of Alhaji Bashir Topa of blessed memory. With due respect to late Bashir Topa, you can all remember he contested against Mashood Abiola from Lagos or from Ogun State. But at the end, by the nature of our own kind of politics, by going with what you call the tenets of what is right and what is wrong, Kano people decided to vote for the man to be.
Thank you very much, SDP, Honorable Ado Doguwa.
And we made sure Mashood Abiola won election against our own son. Not because late Bashir Topa was not a son of the soil. No, he was. Not because Bashir Topa...
All right, Honorable Doguwa, we are out of time. We are out of time. We're out of time.
In the ideology.
Thank you very much for coming on the program today. Thank you very much for coming on the program today.
In those days, the SDP was the party of the Kano people, and no one else could compromise his ideological position for reasons of being a kinsman. So I want to tell you, by providence of time, that history will repeat itself. We have distinguished Senator Bola
Honorable Doguwa, we are out of time. Thank you very much for coming on the program today. I have been speaking with the majority leader of the House of Representatives and member representing Doguwa Tudunwada Federal Constituency of Kano State, Alhassan Ado Doguwa. Thank you very much for coming on the program today.